You're listening to Wild Things and Wild Places, a Muley Fanatic Foundation podcast that aims to discuss issues and efforts related to the Muley Fanatic Foundation mission, the conservation of mule deer, furthering the sport of hunting, and sound wildlife management.
Everybody knows I'm a Muley fanatic.
It's time for Wild Things and Wild Places. And here's your guide, Joshua Corsi.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Wild Things and Wild Places. Another broadcast coming from Mule Deer Days, and a great opportunity for us as a foundation to showcase some of the vendors that have come out to this. And I have been pretty particular on some of the vendors I've tried to reach out to, because there's some unique vendors here that maybe are grassroots efforts that you haven't heard of. I wanted to use this as an opportunity to be able to showcase some of them. And we're doing it right from the vendor booth. And joining me from RUT Holsters is Chance Skelton. Good morning, Chance.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking this time and being willing to do this. RUT Holsters, if folks aren't aware, it's a custom molded Kydex holster, but it's also more than that. You also do knife sheaths. Kydex.
We do archery release holders, knife sheaths, trigger guards, everything from your standard inside the waistband to stuff more specific for women with leggings or exercise clothing. To what we really specialize in then is our hunting carry options. That's where the heart of the company came from. Obviously, some of the other stuff came along with it, but the heart of the company really started with the ability to carry outdoors, doing the things we love to do. So
yeah, and I know one of the things in visiting with you that really, and this was a couple of weeks ago when we got to visit at the Mile High Hunt and Fish Expo, one of the things that really launched RUT Holsters for you was you developing in your garage a way to be able to add a holster to your marsupial bino case.
Yeah, I just had seen some mounts that I thought would work, and I got to playing around out in the garage and I ordered the mount, and I was like, I bet I can make this work, and played around out there for a while. The first one was not real pretty and just roughly thrown together, and I snapped a quick picture of it on my marsupial harness and threw it up on Instagram. And Marsupial Gear, they're just such a great company. They shared it, which for them I think probably meant nothing, but to me it meant the world. And then all of a sudden Instagram messages started rolling in of like, where can I get this? And do you make these? And I was like, oh, my wife was like, we need to LLC. We need to get this like serious now, because we're not going to be behind the eight ball when you're getting interest in stuff. We didn't want to not have the company stuff in line at that point. We'd come up with the company name, but we were just making them for buddies, just nothing real LLC or hard fast at that point yet. So then it was that moment of, oh boy, we better get serious with this real quick.
So RUT Holsters, obviously when you think about big game and your tie into hunting, really stands on its own, but really it's an acronym.
Yeah, so I used it for retained under tension. All of the Kydex holsters, they're retained by a tension set screw with a washer in it on all our Kydex holsters, so therefore you can adjust how tight that retention is on your system. My hunting holsters are set extremely tight, because when I'm in the field, the last thing I want is to have one fall out. Versus my concealed carry type stuff, I set those for myself personally loose, because
you want to be able to get
in that
it quick.
situation, I'm going to be pulling up a shirt. I'm going to be trying to get to it, to dig to it, to access it usually. Versus when it's just on my chest, it's easy for me to grab it. And if I got a bear coming in, or if I'm having to pull it when I'm out hunting in the field, that adrenaline's going to be pumping so fast, it probably doesn't. That thing could probably be set as tight as you can get it, and I'm probably going to rip it out of there no matter what it is.
Sure.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, adrenaline will do funny things to a guy. The bino harness that you worked this initial test model with, if you will, for the marsupial bino case, have you been able to also be innovative to add that to some of the other bino cases? Badlands, Kuyu, First Light. There's a slew of them out there. But
yeah, we can do anything as far as the underneath the harness. We can attach to any of them that have the mollies or PALS loops on the bottom of them.
Okay.
That's one we can do to any of those. So you're talking your T&K, your FHF, your marsupials, your Kafaru, your catamount gear. From there, this year, we just released some new stuff. We came up with a behind the harness mount, so you can actually run it behind your bino harness. And those can go to any harness with a pocket. So you're talking anything that has a pocket on the back. We run a paddle system that slips into the pocket. That's felt back so you don't lose the use of that pocket. But you're talking anything that's got a pocket. When I've got some stuff in the works maybe for the Kuyu stuff. Actually just came up with a design with one of the gentlemen that was interested in purchasing a holster here. He had the Kuyu, he brought it in. We sat down here at the booth, came up with a game plan to throw something together. He was game to give it a test run for me. So when I get back, I'm going to throw together a sample product for him to test run on the Kuyu harness, and we'll see how that one kind of works out for him as well. So it's been finding solutions to everything. Our behind the harness solution is all my wife. Anytime I talk about it, I have to give her credit for the paddle system to go in the pocket. I tried to over-engineer it and spent like 2 days out in the shop just messing with it, playing with it. Came inside just frustrated as all get out. Like, I can do it, but it's going to be so overly complicated. We're never going to be able to figure it out. And she was like, couldn't you just make something that slips into the pocket on the back of it? And I was like, no, because it wouldn't, you can't turn around, walk right back out to the garage.
Like, yes, I can.
Yeah, like, actually, that's a brilliant idea. Like, the simplest
awesome,
solution. So I give my wife full credit on that design. From there, we also made a fully modular system we just released this year that can go from behind the harness, under the harness, and then it can actually go to your belt or to your pack belt. We sell it with a thigh rig or without the thigh rig as well. And it's just, thought process behind that one was the ability just to carry in any position when you're in the field hunting. I love carrying behind my bino harness, but if I'm going back to pack something out the next morning, I don't always want to have to put my bino harness back in. So having the ability to move it quickly to the waistband of my pack is nice. And then coming back in from camp, if you carry on your pack or on your bino harness, when you get back into camp, what's the first thing you do? You take those off, you set them in your tent or in your pickup.
Yep, away from your body.
And you never touch them again.
Yep.
And the spot you're most likely to have it run in with a bear or anything is going to be when you're in camp a lot of the times where it's got food and everything else like that. So with the secondary mount, you can throw one on your belt. You can just unclip your holster from your harness or your pack, throw it directly on your belt, and you've got your pistol with you anywhere you go in camp. Then just a fully modular system to allow you to carry with one holster in multiple different positions.
Yeah, obviously, Chance, you're not able to stock inventory on every pistol from a Glock 19 to a SIG 229. The plethora of firearms, handguns in particular, that are out there in the different shapes, sizes, makes, and models. So this is really when someone orders, it's custom made to their firearm. You certainly have acquired a bunch of different and some of the more popular firearms, just looking at what you have here with the Smith & Wesson and the Glocks. When someone wants to order something like this from you, 9 out of 10 times you probably have a dummy model that'll fit based off the model that they have, but there probably are those circumstances where people have reached out to you and you're like, I don't have that, but we can figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. We can always order more molds, and there's certain times where it takes some scouring and some digging to find the mold, or sometimes it's a mold that's close enough that it can make it work as well. That's why I tell people, if you don't see the model of the gun you're looking for on our website, just shoot us a message. Me or my wife will do some digging in, do some research, see what we can find for molds, and get back to you. And unfortunately, there are some times where it's something that I'm like, hey, it's not out yet, or I haven't got it. Let me reach out and see if I can find someone to make one for me. But it just depends. Some of them take a little longer. Your newer guns, obviously molds don't. The gun comes out and then the mold companies finally get their hands on it and are able to mass produce a mold for the holster making stuff. So yeah, we definitely try to accommodate everybody. And yeah, it's just, there's so many of them. And I actually found a new revolver. We make them for revolvers too. That's a big question I get asked. We do Kydex holsters for revolvers as well. And I just found a new manufacturer that has a ton of revolver molds, so I'm able to dig a little bit even deeper into, some of them 44 mag revolvers, that type of stuff that guys like to carry in the backcountry, those
and same thing, systems. Whether it's the Kimber K6, the hammerless model that is a great concealed carry piece, you can find a piece or a model that will be able to work. And in that worst case scenario, you've actually gone and purchased the firearm to be able to make the mold.
A few of them. I have a few of them that I've done it on.
That's not a bad gig, is it? Honey, I got to go buy a handgun.
It's definitely not. Between vinyl harnesses, some packs, some guns, that type of stuff, I get to write off some of my gear as R&D. So I can't complain personally when I get to go get a new vinyl harness to play around with.
Right.
I think it was last year I got the Catamount, I got the Kafaru, I got the new FHF, so I got to run around, play around with those. It's at that point where my buddies back home would be like, hey, I'm looking at getting a vinyl harness. Can I come?
Which one would you endorse?
Which one do you recommend? I'm like, dude, this is the one I like. Come by the house, try them on, mess around with them, see which one you like. So my house is like a gear testing shop for half of my buddies. They just swing by to check out like what I've got.
Cool. The one thing about the Kydex that you have been able to really make pretty unique is that this isn't just black or olive green. The options are what appear to be besides just being multiple, they're really endless because you customize putting people's logos, putting different images, different logos that represent family crests or whatever someone is interested in. Your ability and opportunity to be able to customize this and make it a unique piece. How big of a part of the business is that?
It's been pretty big. A lot of people like that. We work with a couple different Kydex distributors that are just awesome. And they do the custom printing for me, but they're so good that we've got it down to a system where I literally can send them in an email what I want with maybe 10 words in an email, and they know exactly what I'm looking for based on my style of builds. That it doesn't take me sitting down on the phone to talk them through how I want this to look. I just send them a quick email with a logo on it for people that want a logo on it, or anything custom, honestly. It's the fun part. We've met with some of the vendors here too, and we're getting ready to do some custom pieces with them as well. So it's going to be really fun to just have that ability, if you're in the industry, to have a holster with your logo on it, your information on it. I did 2 of them for you guys here at Mule Deer Days for the giveaway that are just custom for this. I've done them for other events as well as giveaway products to have that event name on it. For whether it's an archery shoot, for the winners of the archery shoot, they get a holster with that name on it, whatever that event was. It's been really fun.
I like it, man. And the one thing that, just looking at the Kydex samples that you have here, it reminds me of going to the Sherwin-Williams paint booth at Home Depot. You have just a plethora of options and colors, and those that have different textures. The topo lines are obviously, that would be something that resonates with me. I'm a map guy. I like that. That looks great. But then just the multitude of colors. If this is something that you want to make a little bit more fashionable, obviously with the bright orange, and to have some of that stuff when you do take that setup off and you want it to be able to stand out when you're in the field, some of the teal greens that would appeal to folks that want something with a little bit more flash or a little bit more color. What's new coming for RUT Holsters? What's in the think tank right now that folks maybe can look forward to?
Right now we're trying to come up with some ways to mount to some more harnesses, to some more packs in unique ways. That's what I'm thinking about at the moment. My wife tries to rein me in occasionally because I'm the one that'll go out and just come up with an idea, and we just released this new system. So she's, let's let this one marinate a little bit before you go straight back out there to the shop and start working on something new. But I do enjoy getting to tinker, to play, to come up with new ideas. That's one of my probably favorite things to do with it, is
just be innovative.
Yeah, just design something new. I know I've messed around with stuff even just for my bow, and we'll see what that comes to as far as whether it's something to clip your stabilizer into your bow case with or something like that, or some of the things that I've just even played around with, something as simple as that with Kydex. Because I know for me, when I throw my bow in a bow case and I don't have a way to secure like my sidebar or something like that, it's frustrating to figure stuff out. So just playing around with some ideas of how else I can utilize the medium that is Kydex, because it is just a great medium to use for multiple different things. We've done challenge coin holders, like you said, knife sheaths, archery release holders. Once you get to playing around with it, you're able just to see that thermoplastic, what you can do with it. It's just an unlimited avenue.
Yeah, we were visiting prior about you doing some custom work for a guy that has a field axe or a tomahawk. Obviously, you don't have a mold for something like that, so you basically just ask, hey, let me borrow your field axe for a bit, and at least what you're working for the impression off of, and then it's truly one-of-a-kind custom piece.
Yeah, he's going to ship it to me, and we're going to play around with putting together a cool design for that, for him to be able to hook it to his backpack and carry it with him when he's, out in the field, that type of stuff. So just the differences of what you can do with it. I've done a lot of custom knife sheaths for guys, whether it's one of your big name backcountry knives or even your Tydo knives or anything like that, your replaceable blades, all the way up to knives for, it was grandpa's knife, but I want a way to be able to carry it with me in the field. So that's a fun part, is getting to make something special for guys, that it's a family heirloom that they want to be able to take with them out on a hunt. But, the leather sheath that it came with is falling apart because it's 70 years old, and they want something that's a little bit updated to be able to still carry that knife with them.
Yeah, and the various ways that this gives you the ability with the different attachments that you're able to add. If a guy wants to carry a lower back knife or a horizontally mounted waist belt knife or on your backpack straps, you can pretty much make it and design it to be able to fit any way someone's wanting to carry it. And I think that's a pretty attractive option, to have that just flexibility to be able to offer that. How do folks reach out to you, Chance, specifically? Is it best to do it through the website? Is it best to do it through some of your social media outreach? How does someone who's looking to do something like this, I obviously think that probably personal contact and personal relationships is a key element to this business. It takes those conversations to be able to do this. Although I'm sure there's a plethora of just here we are standard, pick your color, pick your pattern, you want to add a logo, do this. But what's the best way for folks that are giving a consideration to this to make this go forward?
The easiest way to reach me is either through the website. You can reach out to us. We're just rutholsters.com. Or on Instagram. The company right now is me and my wife. You're either going to get me or her through the social media. The emails are usually all through me. And then RUT Holsters, RUT_Holsters, I should say, on Instagram.
Okay.
We'll take you to our Instagram page, and that's a great way. And we're on Facebook. It's just RUT Holsters on Facebook. I forget how you look stuff up on Facebook, but I know we have a page on there.
There's a page there somewhere,
There's a page there somewhere if you dig through for it. And yeah, that and emails, rutholsters@gmail as well. All of those are great options to be able to reach out to us. And you're either going to get a hold of me or my wife usually, and we try to get back to people quickly. This is still not quite my full-time job yet, but we're working towards that. So if I don't get back right away, I might be doing the full-time gig for the day and then get back to you that evening.
All right, again, RUT_Holsters on Instagram, RUT Holsters on Facebook. You can find them. And, of course, the website, rutholsters.com. You're based out of Colorado, is that correct?
Yeah, we're based out of Eaton, Colorado, so just north of Greeley, south of Cheyenne. We're Weld County, so we like to consider ourselves
part of Wyoming,
far southern Wyoming. But yeah, my wife always, when we talk to people, is like, we hate saying that we're from Colorado sometimes, so we're like, we'll just say we're far southern Wyoming. But yeah, Weld County is the county that stands apart from a lot of the beliefs in Colorado. It just happened recently. Amazon quit shipping holsters even to the state of Colorado.
Colorado is such a beautiful state, but gosh, you got some knuckleheads in office that are just doing crazy things.
We've got some crazy stuff going on, and if this is out before election stuff, if guys are in this hunting world, get out there, get involved with some of that crazy stuff in Colorado. They're trying to ban mountain lion hunting. If they can get that passed, it's going to be a wide open door for a lot of places to try and step in and use that word of trophy hunting in any bills to try and shut down the things we love. So that's just my pitch for that. I know there's been a lot of talk about it, but man, it's a big deal. They're trying to get that passed with the word trophy hunting in it, and boy, that's a slippery slope. If
a lot of unintended consequences, but are actually very intentional and strategic.
Yes.
Folks that are listening and have listened to the podcast for some time now, you may remember a few episodes ago that we did the episode with Dan Gates with Coloradoans for Responsible Wildlife Management. And that's exactly what Chance is alluding to, that this is truly an opportunity that, as Dan said, a clarion call to come forward, get involved, and be an ambassador for our hunting heritage and our sportsmen and sportswomen values of our shooting sports, and overall just the belief in our freedoms that has come at the sacrifice of many that allow for us and our use of firearms. Other potential opportunities for someone that is looking to have something customized. What's the craziest thing that somebody has said, Chance, can you do this?
Man, I've had some guys reach out and wanting to do some stuff with the challenge coin. One was a crazy one I wasn't expecting, but he wanted to be able to carry his military challenge coin inside of a Kydex deal on his keychain, which I think was really cool, and really to get to serve a service member in that way and make something special for them was one I wasn't expecting. And it wasn't like it was anything hard to build, but it was definitely something I didn't foresee coming down the pipeline. I've messed around with doing some Kydex drink koozies for some other companies. They don't work as well as you would think to, but it's still an idea. But playing around with trying to make something that we were going to call the Tacticoozy, and playing around with the idea of just riffing on the Kydex being the tactical use that it is. But that one never quite came to fruition. We're still in talks with the guys that were messing around with it to see if we can't come up with a 2.0 that actually works, because 1.0
didn't.
1.0 kind of fell through the cracks there.
Oh, that's awesome, man. No, I would think that's probably got to be one of the most satisfying aspects of this, is just to be able to challenge your creativity. So if you've got a crazy idea out there, something that you've thought of, again, we can do more together than by ourselves sometimes, and reach out to Chance. He certainly has proven that his ability with what he's doing here. Of course, I'm sitting at his booth here at Mule Deer Days, so I'm getting to see all of the items that he has on hand and what they look like, and the craftsmanship and the quality of them, and then the custom pieces. It's good stuff. So please take a chance and look at Chance's website, rutholsters.com. Check out the inventory, reach out to him, look at the various ways that these can be mounted and attached to not only your comfort level but your needs, particularly when you're in the outdoors. Right now people are out shed hunting. Here of late, it seems like this onslaught of shed carrying packs that have hit the market. Chance can figure out a way to be able to make sure the nice thing about springtime is people get outside. It's also when bears wake up and start moving around. Do the right thing. Make sure that you exercise your full freedoms of being able to have personal carry and defend yourself and those around you. That is your personal responsibility as an American. Those that you love, people ask me all the time, why do you always carry? Are you paranoid? No, I'm not paranoid. But I know the things that I love and the people that I love, and I'm going to be damned if I'm going to stand in the way of letting someone violate that and harm that. Carrying is a true blessing of our freedoms that we have that have come at the sacrifice of so many. Carrying is truly your best offering of love for those that mean something to you, that you will defend them with all you have. So, Chance, it's been awesome to visit with you on this, man. I think you've got a great thing going here. I'm excited to be able to promote this because you're a good dude. Good human beings are what I'm all about. The good human beings that do good, and this is good stuff, man. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it. Like I said, we're running a promo. We'll probably run it through the month, too, for here at Mule Deer Days. We'll run it even for when this podcast comes out and goes. We'll do MDD 2024. Get you guys 10% off. And I'll run this for the month of... month of May.
Again, that code that you can use when you check out, if you're needing to buy something that is going to fit your needs right off the website. If not, and you're doing something custom, call Chance. But use the code MDD for Mule Deer Days, MDD 2024. And get 10% off. And let's spread this message. Share it with others. Do me a favor, get on his Instagram, get on his Facebook, share it. That's how that works. I say that like I know, but I really don't because I'm not a social media guy. But I know that we use it for Muley Fanatic Foundation, and I understand the basics of it, and I know how it can spread like wildfire. So I think we need to just tell everyone that we can. Make sure that one of the biggest things that I hear when I talk to folks that don't exercise their concealed carry rights is that, it's a little inconvenient. It's not designed to be convenient. It's designed to be a necessary tool and something that is available to you when you need it, and that's never going to be convenient. But this is a good avenue and a good way to connect the dots to be able to have something that is convenient and can be carried conveniently. And as we're seeing here, it can also look pretty dang good too. Chance, good stuff, man. I appreciate your time. Safe travels to you. Your 6-year-old daughter's been hanging with you over the event, sitting there in the lounge chair with the earbuds on and the iPad, and waking up early to meet me here this morning so we could do this before the show gets kicked off. And I just appreciate you, and I appreciate what you stand for. And thanks, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, another episode of Wild Things in Wild Places. Again, Chance Skelton. Reach out, RUTHolsters.com. That's RUT. Remember, that is actually an acronym. Retained Under Tension. RUT Holsters. You can find them online and on all the social media platforms that are out there. And give this guy a look. Thanks, guys. Happy trails.
And that wraps up another episode of Wild Things and Wild Places. But remember, the journey doesn't end here. Make sure you never miss out by subscribing. Whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, streaming us on our website, or following us on social media, subscribing is the best way to stay connected. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more wild episodes.
Everybody knows I'm a muley fanatic.